You've got a decision to make before the 30th of April 2026, because after that date, Section 21 no-fault evictions simply stop existing. If you own rental property and might need to remove a tenant, you need to know what's changing and whether to act now or wait and adapt to the new rules. The Renters' Rights Act passed royal assent in October 2025, leaving us with just a few months until Section 21 vanishes completely. Some landlords face an urgent window to act, while plenty of others won't feel any real pressure from the deadline at all. Let's figure out where you stand. Before we break this down any further, if you want to understand the hidden policy shifts reshaping your finances and property wealth, go ahead and gently tap that subscribe button now. Property Brief UK provides clear, timely insights and summaries that keep you one step ahead. One more thing before we go any further. This video is for information only. It is not legal advice. So before you pursue an eviction, you need to talk to a solicitor. Okay, with that being said, let's get into the detail. Section 21 allows you to evict a tenant without proving anything went wrong, and that's the entire appeal of it. No arrears needed, no contract breach required, no reason at all beyond wanting your property back, which means if your procedural paperwork is correct, the courts almost certainly will grant you possession. Since 1989, that straightforward mechanism governed how landlords could end tenancies without any grounds whatsoever. 32,287 Section 21 claims made it to court during 2024, marking the highest number in 8 years, while simultaneously 27,450 households faced homelessness threats directly because of Section 21 evictions, and that gap between the two figures tells you something important. For landlords, this tool opens strategic doors, yet what it actually represents for tenants amounts to something considerably darker. Come the 1st of May 2026, that option evaporates entirely, leaving you dependent on Section 8 grounds instead, which means you'll need a specific legitimate reason, and you'll need to prove it survives cross-examination in court. You've got until the 30th of April 2026 to serve a Section 21 notice. And once you've served it, you then have until the 31st of July 2026 to file your court claim. That's 3 months to get it into the system before the window closes completely. But here's where that timeline falls apart. The median time from filing a possession claim to getting a bailiff order is 43.9 weeks, nearly 11 months just to recover your own property. If you file that court claim on the 31st of July 2026, you're realistically looking at early 2027 before a bailiff actually arrives. Serve notice under Section 21, and you'll recover the property if your paperwork holds up, since the outcome runs virtually automatically when procedures follow correctly. Section 8, by contrast, demands something altogether different. You must identify a specific ground, prove it before a judge, and convince that judge that possession actually fits your situation, which opens the door for your tenant to argue every claim that you've presented. Both paths consume roughly 44 weeks inside the current court system, but the risk you're carrying forward differs completely between the two options. Section 21 hands you near certainty once you've done things properly, while Section 8 forces you to actually defend your position against any counter-argument your tenant can raise. The Renters' Rights Act expands your toolkit from roughly 17 to 20 Section 8 grounds all the way to 37 different grounds, some entirely new and others tightened from existing law. New Ground 1A is used when you're selling, allowing you to serve 4 months' notice on periodic tenancies, yet this only works if your tenant has occupied the property for at least 12 months minimum. Having a fixed-term tenant at month 9 means you're completely stuck without using Section 21 right now. Ground 1 governs your own occupancy, following the same 12-month requirement and 4-month notice period, which bakes a protective period directly into the law going forward. Serious problems with tenants are under Ground 14, which covers antisocial behaviour, nuisance or criminal activity, keeping it as your most powerful tool and allowing you to apply to court immediately. Yet the change landing on most landlords directly is Ground 8 for handling rent arrears. Because the threshold climbs from 2 months up to 3 months, your notice period stretches from 2 weeks into 4 weeks. And this combination fundamentally reshapes when you can move and how much financial loss stacks up before action becomes possible. Currently, when a tenant falls 2 months into arrears, you give 2 weeks' notice and proceed to court. But starting on the 1st of May 2026, 3 months of arrears must pile up first before you can serve notice at all. Then another 4 weeks pass before court involvement happens. Imagine a property collecting £1,000 monthly. You're already £3,000 down in arrears before serving notice, then serving 4 weeks' notice while the rent still doesn't come in, adds another £1,000, landing you £4,000 in the hole before court proceedings even start. Court delays stretching 44 weeks beyond that point mean landlords running on tight margins absorb far more financial damage than their current situation allows. Whether to use Section 21 before the 30th of April or adapt to Section 8 afterwards depends entirely on your specific situation, so let's walk through 5 different scenarios. Scenario 1. You need the tenant out, but have no Section 8 grounds to work with. Your tenant pays rent faithfully, hasn't breached the tenancy, and yet you want them gone. After April 2026, no option exists, except waiting for legitimate grounds to materialize, which means if this describes your circumstances, you genuinely must act before the 30th of April by serving notice and completing court proceedings by the 31st of July 2026. Scenario 2. Legitimate Section 8 grounds already exist or appear likely to develop. In this case, Section 21 carries no urgency whatsoever. You can wait without pressure, and if your tenant stops paying rent or becomes problematic, you'll have grounds to pursue at your own pace and convenience. Scenario 3. If you are selling property or planning to do so soon, New Ground 1A offers 4 months' notice after the 1st of May, though only if your tenant has occupied the property for 12 months already. If you've got a fixed-term tenant at month 15, you can wait and use Ground 1A later. Tenants who haven't yet reached 12 months by the 1st of May 2026 won't qualify for the new Ground 1A rules, making Section 21 worth considering now while it's still available. Scenario 4, for if you are restructuring your portfolio entirely. The English Private Landlord Survey from 2024 found 31% of landlords planning portfolio reductions within 2 years, with 16% intending to sell everything. If you're already exiting, this deadline carries far less weight because your larger strategic decisions have already shifted beneath you. Scenario 5. Periodic tenancies occupy your portfolio now, or they will by the 1st of May 2026. All fixed-term tenancies automatically convert to periodic arrangements on that date, and either party can end periodic tenancies with the correct notice. Section 21 loses its strategic advantage completely when periodic tenancies become the default, as those tenancies already offer natural flexibility. November 2025 saw announcements reshaping landlord profitability from April 2027 onwards through property income tax changes, since the basic rate of income tax on rental profits moves from 20% up to 22%, while the higher rate climbs from 40% to 42%. Meaning every £1,000 of rental profit now costs you an extra £20 in tax annually. April 2028 arrives with additional pressure. A high-value property surcharge means £2,500 annually for properties exceeding £2 million in value, escalating to £7,500 for anything above £5 million, creating new financial layers landlords never anticipated. Landlords are already exiting, with their returns compressing across the board and regulations tightening their grip systematically, with 31% of landlords planning portfolio reductions and 16% intending to sell everything they own. This isn't coincidence. Eroding returns drive these exits directly, because regulations compress margins, tax increases diminish attraction, and tenant protections make properties harder to manage day to day. Section 21. Abolition removes one more tool, extends one more process, increases the proportion of cases you'll lose, all happening alongside rising costs and changing regulatory pressure that keeps mounting. Starting on the 1st of May 2026, periodic tenancies take over completely, with every fixed-term arrangement automatically converting to monthly or weekly patterns, while no new fixed-term contracts can emerge under the new regime. This shift paradoxically reduces your pressure to deploy Section 21 defensively as insurance, since once your tenancy turns periodic, both parties gain the ability to end it on notice, removing that locked-in feeling that used to force premature action. You access Section 8 grounds when they genuinely arise, without the fear of entrapment that previously made landlords act before circumstances truly warranted it. Everything that we discuss here is commentary based on our own research, and is not legal advice of any kind. And if you're actually serving Section 21 notice or pursuing any Section 8 eviction, professional solicitor involvement becomes genuinely non-negotiable. Section 21 demands meticulous procedural compliance throughout, and one miscalculation with your form, a date format error, or prescribed notice language drifting wrong collapses the entire claim instantly, erasing months of work for nothing. Defending your actual case before a judge under Section 8 requires something altogether different. £300 invested in professional legal advice today prevents months of legal chaos later. The 30th of April 2026 marks a genuine deadline whose actual importance depends entirely on where you're positioned right now. Needing to remove a tenant without Section 8 grounds available means Section 21 represents your only current option, and it won't exist after April, which forces you to act within the next 5 months if this describes you. But holding legitimate grounds already, or expecting them to develop naturally, or restructuring your portfolio regardless, these circumstances carry far less deadline pressure. You transition to Section 8 without urgency, moving within a similar timeline, while accepting the reality that outcomes become less certain. Legitimate grounds remain manageable even when you must build your case before a judge. The rental market continues to shift. Returns compress, regulations tighten, landlords exit the market. Understanding your specific situation, your specific tenant, your specific timeline, and reaching a decision that works both legally and financially for what you're actually facing matters now more than ever. Get solicitor advice. Don't treat videos as legal guidance, and make whatever call makes sense for your circumstances. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Property Brief UK for more essential updates on the UK property market. We cover everything from legislation changes and market trends to practical advice for tenants, landlords, and investors. Ring the notification bell so you never miss an update that could affect your property decisions. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.